What's going on, Guardians? It's Tizzle here. In this video, I've got a clear of a solo GM of Devil's Lair. This Grandmaster comes out tomorrow when this will be going up, but I wanted to make this video now, excuse me, to show you how to solo this GM. If you're looking at doing your first solo Grandmaster, then this would be the one I would recommend. It was the first one I ever soloed back before the resilience changes when it was a little tougher, but overall, it's definitely a good entry-level GM, especially this season. There's some battlegrounds and stuff. They're not exactly the best to start with. So this would definitely be the one I recommend if you're looking at soloing your first Grandmaster. And I'll give you all the tips and tricks that I've learned. I soloed this one 8 times this season, I believe. I did every Warlock subclass, and then another build I wanted to try, and then this Lucky Pants Hunter one. And the Hunter Lucky Pants was actually the quickest that I beat any of them with. This build absolutely slaps. I did a video earlier in the season showcasing more detail if you're interested. But anyways, you can skip this overload and still get a platinum clear. I just wanted to show how easily you can melt it with your overload hand cannon and overload machine gun. So we actually weakened him because we were far enough away, so rapid fire ranger procced there. And that just allows us to take out the champion quicker and a little easier. There's some forgiveness where you don't have to hit all your crits. So in this area, you want to take out all the red bars and stuff first because they can mess you up. So some thrall rush you here, so I was leaving that until they start rushing, and then I can pick it up, and the whirling maelstrom will pretty much deal with all the adds. You want arc resist and concussive dampener right there because of the barrier knights, and here I'm missing some shots on him because my whirling maelstrom actually gets in the way there. Otherwise he would have melted while he was suspended, but we were actually shooting our tangle there, which was unfortunate, but that happens. But anyways, he was affected, so we're able to make a tangle off him, and again then we're able to run up and throw it to take out some more adds. The Whirling Maelstrom comes in really handy because there is a lot of ad density in this GM. There's just a few rooms. And anyways, so we want to melt this captain next. Same thing, we just stun with the machine gun, proc rapid fire ranger, and get a quick and easy melt. So once you go past a certain point, you'll see right here, that's when those thrall come out. So just wait for them, throw that down. I've got elemental munitions on, so anytime you get at least like 2 or 3 kills with your tangle, you're gonna make a heavy brick. So I was able to make a heavy brick there. Here I'm getting a little aggressive, but I know where I'm able to push and where I'm not. So again, we want to make another tangle because there's a couple acolytes over here. Deal with the acolytes first. I tried to suspend the knight and we would have been able to take him out with the hand cannon, but he dodged it. So we're just gonna get a quick stun next. And then again, you can just melt them easily. Make sure you're always reloading your hand cannon after shooting. That procs the Lucky Pants perk and makes it so you're ready to go for the next encounter. This part, huge. Get those 2 vandals that are back there. If you don't, they will mess you up because you're trying to focus on all these ads and they'll snipe you. And back before the resilience changes, those arc snipers were able to one-shot you if you didn't have enough resilience. I think you needed to run 50 back then. But anyways, make sure you get them down. I like to also take out the wizards quick. And then I tried to suspend that captain just because he can bounce around and stuff. And then just use your super on the rest of the ads. But yes, ad management is crucial. You really want to take out those 2 vandals because if you pop super there, you're trying to deal with all those other ads. And then they're just going to be sniping you the whole time. So once they're down, then you're safe to pop your super. Ideally take out the wizards as well, but definitely those 2 vandals in the back. Those are really important. Don't forget about them. And sometimes they do hide. Take your time and wait for them. So the defending the ghost part, there's 3 sections to this. We'll talk about them all. So you want to throw your tangle back there because a bunch of ads spawn. And then just sit here and kind of wait. I'm going to try to make another tangle. That's perfect. And then we stun. So now we're getting that tangle damage. And we have elemental fury. So when that overload is stunned, he's taking 35% more damage from that whirling maelstrom. And then we're able to just swap to the hand cannon and mess him up. Here, just using a little Tikus, you can see it explodes all those enemies except one. Can't remember why I didn't shoot that tangle there. I might as well have. Because all the other ads are at a distance. There, now I finally shoot it. There's some vandals that are up on the kind of the stair things on the left. Don't get sniped by them either. Some drags push us here. There's like 3 drags that spawn there. So we just created another tangle. So I'm pretty sure they're dead. So now I'm just going to whip that up at those vandals. Again, you want to take out the vandal snipers because their snipes do hurt a lot and you kind of forget about them back there. So once you clear a certain amount of ads, you get a bunch more shanks and stuff. I'm not sure why my tangle isn't proccing here, so I'm just going to have to take out all the ads with my machine gun. Here I proc a tangle and then let the whirling maelstrom do its work. I'm running an auto-loading 7 Seraph machine gun. Yeah, I needed that tangle earlier, that's why I'm annoyed there. But you can see how much heavy I'm making from my whirling maelstrom. And now we just have to clean up these last few ads. So yeah, sorry, I was talking about my build. I've got Tikus for anti-barrier, and then overload, we've got a Vorpal weapon auto-loading machine gun, which is arc, but that's for the arc shields. As long as you're running overload machine gun, then it will get that extra 25% damage due to the artifact mod. So now all those ads are dead. So now we go to, I guess this is the second phase, but it's one of 3. So here I just like to proc a whirling maelstrom on the ads at the door, and then you're just gonna chip away at a bunch of ads. And once, I'm not sure if it's all the wizards, we'll see here. Once you take out a certain amount of wizards, you're gonna get some knights that spawn right in front of you. And if you time it perfectly, your super can kill the knight while it's suspended. But the problem with this super is, yeah, see, I even missed the suspend on that barrier because he spawns in later. But yeah, what I like to do is spawn kill with the super there, and then I'm not able to get a stun, which is so annoying. If you don't know, you can't hit crits on, you can on barrier servitors, but you can't on knights, and it's really freaking annoying because it makes you have to take 3 shots of your Tiku's bow, see? Where if I'm hitting crits, it should be done in 2 shots. But anyways, it doesn't really matter because Warden's Law can absolutely chunk champions, so we're able to take them out. But yeah, ideally, I wanted to pop a super there and spawn kill all those knights and all those ads that all spawn up at once. Ideally, you can suspend them with your shackle grenade, and then you just go in, and if all your shots or all your hits from the super land, then you will kill the knight. Conversely, if you don't want to run the aspect that gives you 2 shackle grenades or any type of grenades, then you can run the ensnaring slam, which allows you to do the acrobat dodge thing in the air and suspend, and you can actually use that in your super. So you could suspend with your 1 grenade, do a couple hits on that barrier, and then you could ensnaring slam them to put them up again, and then you're guaranteed to take them out in your super. So it's just up to you, but I definitely recommend Whirling Maelstrom and whatever else you want to run. The other aspect doesn't matter so much. So yes, this Vandal in the back is extremely annoying. On some of the runs on my Warlocks, see, there he hit me. In the old GMs, I'm dead there. But it's just annoying because he just constantly peeks and then ditches back behind cover. Here he comes out again. So that's why I dip behind cover, launch my Maelstrom. But yeah, I did run a linear fusion on some other ones, and it is completely worth using a linear fusion shot or 2 to take him out because he's just so freaking annoying. Always dipping behind cover. So here, I think I'm finally able to get some shots on him. We get him dead. Now we're going to proc our Maelstrom. So yeah, after this wave, then we should go to 2 of 3. So this is just a matter of cleaning up some ads. But yeah, standing back here is a really good spot to stand because you have lots of cover. So now we've got 2 overload captains that come toward us here. So we're just going to bait them in, get them nice and close. This was a little risky to do because some other ads do come up and push, but they hadn't pushed yet. So I figured I had some time to take on that overload and deal with them. And again, because this build can one stun a champion solo, it doesn't take too much work to take him down. So now we've got a ton of adds, so we're just spraying and playing here, and then we're just gonna easily clean him up. We had a lot of damage going on between Sever and the Maelstrom and all that stuff, so that was pretty easy. He came in a nice spot too. Sometimes they don't, sometimes they want to be difficult. I don't know why I'm not shooting my Maelstrom here. Oh, I think I want to save it for those adds up top, but the Vandals that are up on the stairs, but I decided to just whip it out. So now we have another one of those orange bar Vandals in the back that are super annoying to deal with, so that's why we're just peek shooting there. Gonna grab a bit of ammo. And now we're pretty much done. So I can't remember if I pop a super here. Doesn't look like I do. But I could have just popped a super to take out the rest of those adds. But I didn't. And again, get a little risky, but once you have some experience in GMs, you kind of know how much damage you can take before you're going to die. So I know I can be a little aggressive and then just dip under the stairs like I did there and still be okay. But if it's your first solo, I'd recommend just being a little safer on those adds. I wanted to save my super for this next part coming up with the barrier servitor, as you'll see. But yeah, so in here, I throw the shackle grenade just to make an easy Maelstrom. And then again, you want to deal with the adds first because they will mess you up. As you can see there, I took quite a bit of damage. Again, just playing a little reckless, but I know what's within my limits. And then you want to stun the captain. Don't even stress about that captain until every enemy is dead. Ad management is huge in solo GMs. I'm going to make a video talking about like just some tips and tricks for soloing GM content. And that's a big one. Add priority. I mentioned those two Vandals in the back before we popped super at the start of that last room. Here's another good example. There's two Vandals up on that rooftop. They are my primary concern. And unfortunately, the one got immunity'd right by that barrier right at the end. So I just decided to pop super because supers will go through those immunities. But I wanted to take that... there I get unlucky with that. Exploding early, and then I'm dodging the Vandal on this side. But yeah, I wanted to take out both Vandals on the rooftop before I did anything else there. And now we're just going to proc a Maelstrom on that side. Again, barrier servitors are like the least threatening of all champions. The one problem they do pose is that they make surrounding enemies immune like they just did. So I wasn't concerning myself at all with that barrier champion. So we proc Rapid Fire Ranger, get an easy stun. There you could see I could hit my crits. So it was just 2 shots instead of 3 like it is on the Barrier Knights, which is nice. And then we're just going to deal with the rest of the adds. So we just proc another Maelstrom with our melee and take out the rest of the adds, easy peasy. So if you go too far forward here, you're going to spawn in the Briggs. But I found a really good spot right here where you can deal with some Vandals. And on the right of us, he actually got a shot off on me. On the right of us is some more adds and an overload captain just over that hill. So we're just going to do some jump shots here and tag them all up with Tikus, and then boom, you can see we do a nice little explosion. That was dumb on my part. I was confused because I didn't know where that mine was, and I still don't really know how I tripped that mine that's on the roof and I'm down on the ground. But anyways, you also, again, want to prioritize those Vandals. From all the way back here, they will move sometimes, but I don't think they shoot you if you're this far back. So again, here, we can get a decent angle on these other adds, and we're just going to try to bait this captain over. And he comes right where we can deal with him. Again, I like to deal with adds before I take on champions a lot of the time. So that was a little risky, because if they had moved in, I would have had to stop shooting that captain and get back to cover. But luckily, didn't really have to do that. So now we're just gonna deal with these adds that are near and far and just slowly chip away. Again, I know the damage I can take, so I was being a little aggressive knowing I'm not gonna die. These guys move around a lot. I should tag more of them with Tikus because all I have to do is land one hit, and if they're all tagged with that Sacred Flame, then they all would have taken some explosion damage there when they were grouped up together. But anyways, I took out a couple on that side, so now we're just going to rotate to the right side, and there's some vandals near and far. So we're going to focus on the near ones because they actually will hit me. And same thing there, I should have left him suspended for a second and tagged up that other vandal with the bow. And you can see he actually gets a shot on me. That's tough because you can't see him with the tree. But that is one nice thing about Tikus. And there, I did some nice explosion damage. So again, if I go too far forward here, I'm going to spawn in the Briggs. And you don't have to kill this barrier like I'm doing. But it is nice to get it down. So if you can kind of get an angle, especially being that we have an anti-barrier bow, so you can pretty much engage at any distance with that, then I just like to take the servitor because sometimes he does move back towards where the walker will spawn. And then it's really annoying to deal with him back there. So ideally, we could have done enough damage to keep him in that spot. But unfortunately, we didn't. But we did still maintain an angle without going too far forward. If I go like another foot forward here, I'm going to spawn a Brig. So we don't want that. So here's where linear fusion's nice, but obviously with this build, machine gun's just awesome for the ad clear. And here now we got the barrier staying in place, which is good. We had causality arrows times 6, which increases the damage of our Tiku's bow. And then we get the kill. So now I come forward just a little, and we're gonna spawn in the Briggs. And then this is where this build is super nice, and one reason that it makes for a quicker run than on some of those Warlock builds I was running, because your hand cannon can deal some massive damage to these Briggs. So I'm going to pop a super on the one, and that'll get him to open his crit, and just like that. And then I just dip out, and then we're just going to do one rotation of our hand cannon, and he's going to die. So you can see just the insane power there of a times 10 damage boost Lucky Pants, even though I was way out of my hand cannon range. So now we want to keep an eye on that walker. There's his laser right there. He makes a little sound cue before he shoots it. And again, what I'm doing here is that semi-auto striker will give you armor charge. But again, on this run, I had the bugged armor charge, so it wasn't decaying. But what you can do is hit a couple crits like I'm doing. You'll get causality arrows times 6, which does big damage. As you can see, I'm doing big damage. Again, also one thing, watch that skiff that's above. He's going to lob some arc bombs at us. But this is a decent spot to stand. If you're on the roof there, he'll hit you more aggressively. But this spot seems to be safe. But if you're taking damage, just start moving. So you can see we've already got that walker to half just from hitting our causality arrows on the legs. It does huge damage when you have causality times 6. So now we're just going to do a couple rotations of our Lucky Pants. You can see this takes the Brig to almost half health. And then while we wait, we're just going to shoot some causality arrows. So one hip fire. I don't need to be drawing that bow back completely either. I can just do a quick hip fire to put the Sacred Flame on. But I wasn't doing that here. So anyways, now I know his health's pretty low, so I was able to swap over. And then once his crit's exposed, and I already had some damage boost going, you could see it just melted him in like 4 crit shots, because we had the max damage boost. Plus the Vorpal weapon, which does more damage. Plus I was running, I didn't even have Adept Big Ones, which boss spec would work on bosses and vehicles. I actually was running major spec just for the champions, because I forgot it was an adept weapon. But yeah, make sure you run adept big ones in the future so that you get that bonus on both things like the walker and on champions for major spec. But anyways, now we're going to shoot the legs, and then we shoot the crit. And yeah, you just hip fire, and then regular draw. So you can see causality times 2, I'm doing almost 40,000 with a bow, and now I'm doing over 40,000. With the times 4. So yeah, then it's just a matter of chipping away at the walker, and we're also going to have some overloads down below. And then you can see that Vandal sniper is trying to snipe me, but where I am, I have some protection from that ducting on top of this roof. So it worked really good. So unfortunately, these legs are a little hard to hit. I got the back legs because I already took out the front. So this part's taking a little longer than I wanted it to. As you can see, I get impatient, wanted to see if that would do the trick. And it actually did, but the bow was probably better in that situation. I was just getting really sick of shooting it. So now we've got this overload down below, but there's also some invisible marauders. So you have to be really wary of them. But one good thing, they'll be on my left here. Yeah, I guess they weren't even invis right now. I throw a horrible grenade there. The one pushes me, the other runs. But yeah, I like to deal with them because they do push up on you invis. And I don't know, I just have trouble seeing invis in this game. So I wanted to take them both out there. That's why I tried, there he is. That's why I tried throwing that grenade to try to get them both. So now I can chuck this over where all those orange bar vandals are. And again, we're just trying to clean up the ads before we take on this overload captain. So unfortunately that vandal was one shot. So, oh, and now we have the drive-by skiff. So again, in an old GM, I'm probably dead there because I wasn't paying attention to that drive-by skiff. But luckily, with some arc resist, I'm able to survive it. And same thing there, would have been dead in an old GM, but I know what I can handle. So we get a maelstrom over on that vandal. And now we're just going to start cleaning up all the ads. So I think there's still two overload captains, I believe. And then there's these resilient captains. So yeah, it's good to just use a shackle grenade on them. Renders them useless. Shackle grenades aren't as good as they used to be on champions. They got nerfed pretty heavy. Oh, that's another nice thing. Those bombs, you can just hip fire with Tikus, and it will destroy that bomb immediately. So yeah, we've got that other overload on the left. But again, with this Lucky Pants hand cannon, we were able to take out that overload in one stun really quickly. And then that allows us to readjust and get ready for these ads on the left side. And yeah, just another easy melt. So that's that section. There's a couple more ads left, but that's pretty much going to be the end of it. So I was just saving my super. I saved my super a lot in this round, actually. I didn't pop it very much. But Strand super is honestly super good in Grandmaster PvE type content. I'm super impressed with it. It's a wonderful ad clear. So a 22-minute boss room, that's pretty good to be honest. But again, this build is doing a lot of the heavy lifting. So here, we want to make a maelstrom. That's why I chucked out my grenade. And then I stun the champs. But again, ad management. So I'm looking for any other ads because the ads will be annoying when we're trying to deal with these champs. So there's the other ads. So I kill the one, hit the maelstrom. I don't even care that they fall, but I stunned them, so that was good. So we're able to take out one, and then we're actually able to take out another. Auto-loading holster's so nice. Having overload machine gun just helps huge. So yeah, you can see like this build absolutely wrecks. To take out 2 overload champions in pretty much one stun is just crazy. So here, we're trying to get as much damage in as we can before dipping to safety. Again, I know what my tolerance is, but those ads come out quick. So if it's your first GM, do maybe a little bit of damage, but get to this room. This room is your safety room. You're going to spend 90% of the boss room just chilling here. But oddly, it's not supposed to go till that 1/3 mark that you can see on the boss's health bar. But for some reason, the servitors already came out, which is kind of nice because that's the whole goal. I was trying to do enough damage to just jump right to his next phase. And yeah, so basically what you want to do here, I didn't have my hand cannon loaded, which was stupid of me. But that's because after that boss spawned, I was just trying to get to cover. And here, just some bad gameplay. Didn't have an angle on that shank. I'm trying to make a tangle. And I'm going to shoot the tangle, and then that's going to deal with a ton of those ads. There you go. You can see a whole bunch of stuff coming up on the kill feed. But yeah, what you want to do here is tag up with the causality arrows, and then every time your cooldown is off from Lucky Pants, then you want to swap to that because it will melt the servitors really fast. But sometimes servitors do what they're doing here and they just dip to some really weird spots. But anyways, once that shield's down, like look how fast that melts. I know I had a Maelstrom on it, but it's just absolutely absurd. Like this build is just crazy. Warden's Law is actually better DPS than Malfeasance is, and Malfeasance goes super hard between the slug damage, and then it also has Vorpal, but because this fires at a faster rate, it ramps up that damage quicker, and you're able to get off all 22 shots, where Malfeasance, it only gets off about 17 high damage shots with Lucky Pants. So anyways, you do have to be wary of that captain that's back there. He will sometimes push you, so I think I actually go to deal with him next, which is probably smart, because sometimes you can get a little focus on doing DPS and forget about him. And I think you can survive one of his melee attacks, but in the old GMs, before the changes again, you'd just straight up die if you got hit by him. So here, I had thought I took out the last one, and yeah, I did. Okay, sometimes they hide, like I was saying. So anyways, try to do as much damage here as we can with our hand cannon. And now I'm going to pop super and start taking out some of these ads. Because on this phase, these guys are orange bars actually. You saw that drag was an orange bar, that drag's an orange bar. So this super puts in big work on them. I didn't want to get greedy. I wanted to get those other ads, but again, sometimes you just have to retreat to cover. So then we're just going to throw out a shackle grenade and make a maelstrom and deal with the rest. And then we go back to doing boss damage. Oh yeah, and then here's the rest of the ads. So not yet. Again, you don't want to focus on the boss. Sort of like with champions too. If there's a lot of ads around, deal with the ads first, then the champion. And then same with here. Deal with these ads before doing boss DPS. So there's some invisible marauders. Those little solar shotguns they shoot actually chunk. So don't play with them. Just take them out as quick as you can. That was a dumb peek. I have low recovery on my hunter. So I'm kind of used to running high recovery because I'd done it so much on my warlock this week. So I peeked before I was ready. But anyways, I was lucky enough to survive. And here I'm just getting unlucky with the boss's movement. Can't get a full rotation of damage off with my illegally modded holster hand cannon, which is unfortunate because it just prolongs this fight. If you wait too long, like I have now, you're gonna get another wave of ads. So now some ads also come down below. Those guys always come around this point in the fight, so they won't really push you up top, but they will be down here. So if you're like running for cover or something for some reason, just be wary that those guys will be down here. I'm using the bow here obviously because Tiku's actually does really good damage as well, especially once those causality arrows are ramped up. There, the skiff shot at me, so also watch out for that. So now we're on to the third phase, and this one there is a couple champions to deal with, overload champs, but again they won't push into this room. So all we want to do here, ideally, yep, there we go. We're going to get a maelstrom going. And then we're going to take out as many ads as we can. We're going to deal with the champs when they're in a good position. So like if they come in front of the door, that's a good position, and then we'll deal with them. But you don't want to force it. Just let them run around back there and just take what the game gives you at this part. So I'm trying to get them in a good position. There I procced Rapid Fire Ranger, and once I do that, I know I can melt it. So even though I didn't start shooting it with the hand cannon like right when it was suspended, I was just waiting to get Rapid Fire Ranger, so I knew that at that range I could still get a melt when he did come down. So there is still one more champion on the field, don't forget about that. So no enemies are really peeking us, so now it's time to just focus on some servitors. Again, you kind of want to always be doing some type of damage. So there, he was in an okay spot, but his crit would have been covered, and I was out of luck on my lucky pants, so I didn't really force it. So here, again, just trying to get a maelstrom off. There is one up there, but I'm very wary of that guy. There, now he's in a perfect spot. We get the stun, even have the maelstrom doing a little extra damage. Boom, easy melt. So now there's, I think there might be 2 of those captains, one on each side. And now that servitor's doing that annoying thing I talked about where they kind of get stuck over there. See, he tried to like blink, but he couldn't. So yeah, that's just a thing that happens sometimes. And then I don't know where that servitor came from, but he's the last one we got to deal with. I'm just going to use machine gun ammo to take him out because I'm trying to save my... I thought I had heard something. I'm trying to save my lucky pants for doing big boss deeps right here. So that's a good spot to stand, but unfortunately he blinks pretty quick and then we lose damage fall off, and yeah, it just kind of all goes for shit. So now a bunch more ads are going to spawn, and here would be a good spot to use your super yet again, just to clean up the ads quickly so that you can get to boss DPS. So that's exactly what I do. I wait till all the enemies that spawned in are kind of closer, and then I don't get the best super off. I was getting kind of hung up on those grenades there. So again, just retreat. We're at the end now, so I wasn't pushing too hard. Could have played a little more aggressively, but this is not where you want to die. You do not want to die on the 3rd phase of a boss in any GM, even if it's an easier one like Devil's Lair. But anyways, I'm just being cautious here. And now we're going to go put in some big deeps with the hand cannon. I really wanted to melt here, but unfortunately couldn't. Getting pushed by marauders, so we back up. And again, here you just have to take what the defense gives you. What the game gives you. So unfortunately, if I had got that melt on Sepix, we'd have been done already. But now it's just rinse and repeat. Like I said, it's I'm not sure if it's health or time gated. There, I got a little low, and here's some ads down low like I was talking about. But yeah, I'm not sure if it's health or time gated, but regardless, if you get the boss down like I did, you're going to get another ad spawn eventually if you don't melt them fast enough. So here, I'm just waiting. That was so annoying that stray bullet hit me. But yeah, I was just waiting to get in position. I'd have loved to melt them with the hand cannon, but I kind of screwed up by not having it loaded, so we just go with the bow. And that's it. Again, ad management, huge, but this is a wonderful build to run on the Devil's Lair GM. I hope the commentary and talking about kind of how I was playing the build and how I was playing the GM helped. Anyways, if it did, then a like and subscription would be greatly appreciated. I hope it was entertaining. I love this build. I've used it in, if not all, then most of the GMs this season, and it's extremely strong. And with Warden's Law, it's absolutely amazing. But this is the only GM with overloads, so in the ones with Unstoppables, you're pretty much running Malfeasance. But anyways, thanks for watching. Take care.